The last couple days, I've seen a couple videos about the ethical software movement, and I don't really know how to make a video about this right now. I'm trying to make um, something that says it's a good thing, but I don't know that much about it. And the two videos I saw were from the first one was from distrotube, and it said ethical software threatens free and open source software. And that video just sucked. That one was just like old man rants at cloud type. Better things aren't possible. And you know what? If you are trying to change other people, you should look at yourself. You should clean your room. You should uh, exercise. You should stop being fat. Uh, and that was sort of like um, he was using those things as examples more than like grievances with the people who uh, want ethical software, but also he was very like stereotyping. I don't know what he would even call them, like SJWs probably. Uh, Whatever. But there was this other video that was a lot better. It wasn't just stereotyping sort of people who want better things for the world. This video called it was ethics as wait fuck what was it? It was by Brodie Robertson, I think. Yeah. Ethics has no place in software licenses, and that video was actually a lot better. In that video, he did have some specific and I would say legitimate grievances with um, the unenforceability of a software license in the real world, which I mean, you could say the same thing about the GNU license, you know? Like, you could say the same thing about any open source license, and he did. He said these companies don't care about licenses, these government agencies don't care about licenses. And it's true. And you know what? A license, uh, counting on enforcing that through the legal system or otherwise, is a bad move because the legal system is a complete and utter farce. It's, it's complete garbage. So that's why I don't really know how to make a good video on this kind of thing. And I appreciate that the ethical software movement has been sort of protesting against ICE and whatnot. You know, it's not a good thing that people have written tools that are now being used in concentration camps. We've seen something similar to that happen. A long time ago. It wasn't quite okay. People wrote open source software. Now it's being used by the Nazis, but it was IBM as a business, and to make money, they decided to sell to the Nazis, and they kind of cover that up. And everybody knows about that, though. Pretty much, they sold computers, they sold software to the Nazis I think in the 30s, definitely the 40s, and obviously, that software and hardware was used to better make databases and uh, documentation of who's a homosexual, who's a Jew, um, just keeping track of people better. And all those tools now are sort of, they're out there. They're still out there, in the form of like social media, Google, whatever, all that shit, right? So the question is like, how do we stop entities like ICE from using free software? But that's not even the right question. It's not the right question at all, I would say. Uh, I think the right question is more like, how do we stop ICE from existing? And how do we prevent the further human rights? I'm not even sure if I like the word human rights that much because, like, all right, so the UN, and I'm not completely knowledgeable about this subject, but the UN only really looks at human rights abuses when it happens in countries that don't have power on the global stage, really. It like if you're powerful, if you're wealthy, if you're rich, you're above the legal system, and that includes the international legal system. And so, like human rights, you can say human rights all day long. The fact is, there's millions of homeless people in the United States. There's millions of people who aren't compensated fairly for their work. There's millions of people with no health care, millions of people in prison, uh, and I don't know how many people are in these concentration camps and ICE, but these prisons are essentially the same thing. You even have like open air prisons, like camps in like Arizona and stuff like that, and that's you know a concept that as we crack down on more and more people, not just black people, then we're going to need more prisons, and we need more prisons every day. They're, quote unquote, we need them. So I wouldn't even say like I would agree with Brodie in the sense that looking at the legal system or a code of ethics isn't the right place to be looking when it comes to stopping these organizations from doing what they do. We know that ICE has horrible conditions. It shouldn't exist. They've been caught doing eugenics. They've been sterilizing women. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like that's just what's been like minorly reported in the news. I'm sure it has like all the same characteristics as any prison has, where there's widespread abuse and rape and all sorts of things from the guards to the prisoners, but magnified because these people aren't considered in the ICE detention camps. They don't have rights. Like, if you're in prison, you don't have rights, right? And that gets taken advantage of every day. But if you're in an ICE detention camp, you might as well have like negative rights, Or I don't even know what to say about that. Just you might as well not be a human being if you're in prison or you're in an ICE detention center. You have no dignity. You have nothing. you have no hope. Um, your only two options are getting deported or dying in those camps. So I don't even know how to make a good video about this. And like I appreciate activism. Um, and activism does get us gains. More gains than just telling people to vote for the Democratic Party. But without real power, we can't do anything about these uh, these entities. Like we can't do anything uh, about that unless we, you know, get power for ourselves and threaten them. You know, and what that looks like, I can't really say. Like it doesn't look like anything that we're really doing right now. So it's an uphill battle, and the free software movement, you know, it's had people had very similar sort of ideas about it when it started, and even to this day, uh, you know. But look at it now. The ethical source movement might just be, you know, one thing that helps. Like it doesn't hurt to do activism. It does make people mad at you because you think that stopping attempting to stop certain activities uh, that your software can be used for is discrimination. But is that a flaw in the ethical source movement, or is that a flaw in the open source movement? Uh, I'll make some more videos about this. I don't really know how to talk about it right now in a way that's sort of fair to the movement, and also um, I thought Brodie's video was fair. I didn't think Distro's video was fair. I thought that one was hot dog shit. And you know, that comes down to a difference in their politics, I would say. That's all for now.